Hello guys, welcome to Brainy Medic. So in this video we will be learning about leukemia. That is mainly I'll be telling you about acute leukemia and its types. So let's get started. So first let's understand this basics, okay? So when I'm considering hematopoietic stem cells, it will divide into myeloid stem cells and lymphoid stem cells. Myeloid stem cells are also known as myeloid blast, and lymphoid stem cells are also known as lymphoid blast. Remember, it's not myeloblast, it's myeloid blast or lymphoid blast. Okay, then this myeloid stem cells, these are progenitor cells. Okay, so therefore it will form RBC, platelets, monoblast which forms monocytes, myeloblast which forms basophils, eosinophils, neutrophils which are all granulocytes, and later on there is formation of B lymphoblast which forms mature plasma cells, T lymphoblast which is immature and it forms naive T cells, and then CD T cells or CD4 T cells, that is mature T cells. So now basically the defect in myeloid blast leads to formation of AML. Okay, it can be either defect, myeloid blast defect can cause a decreased production of myeloblast which decreases all this, or it can decrease monoblast and decrease monocytes formation. It can be anything, but there is formation of immature cells. Remember, there is increased formation of cells. Because of abnormality there is increased formation of all these cells, but these are immature. Coming to lymphoid stem cells, so when this activity is disturbed, there is increased formation of B or T lymphoblast. So it is again blast. When we hear the word blast, it means immature. So here there is abnormal proliferation of B lymphoblast and T lymphoblast, that is nothing but ALL. Okay, so both, wherever we hear the word acute, it means immature. Now if there is increased formation of T lymphocytes, then it is called CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia. It is mature cells. So the basic difference between acute and chronic is nothing but mature and immature cells. So once again, quick revision: if there is defect in myeloblast cells, there is increased proliferation of all these immature cells. Then if there is defect in this lymphoblast, then there is increased proliferation of immature B lymphoblast and T lymphoblast, which is called ALL. Then finally in CLL there is defect in mature T cells, and in CML it is also mature condition which I'll be explaining in other video, but it is myelogenous. Therefore we in that all the cells are increased. We also call it as garden party appearance, because in CML it is mature form in which all the cells are increased. But now let us focus on acute leukemia. So basically one thing we have to understand, that bone marrow fails to produce mature cells. In normal human beings, there is 1 to 2% of blast. We know that blasts are nothing but immature cells. So in normal humans, there is 1 to 2% blast in our bone marrow. We know that all the process or hematopoiesis, it takes place in bone marrow. So in normal individuals there is 1 to 2% of blast, but in acute leukemia there is increased blast, that is more than 20%. Even if you forget anything in this video, please remember one thing, that in acute leukemia it is more than 20% blast formation in bone marrow. Now we always hear three words: AML, MDS and MPD. So what is this? Acute myelogenous leukemia, myelodystrophic syndrome, then myeloproliferative disorder. So what is the difference? Remember, in AML there is, as usual I told, accumulation of immature blast cells or myeloid cells. That is myeloid blast. When I consider myelodysplastic syndrome, what happens here is there is defective maturation of myeloid progenitor cells. It also means same, that is there is ineffective hematopoiesis. And when I consider myeloproliferative disorder, remember, in that there is increased production of one or more type of blood cells. See, for example, in this there may be increase in RBC, there may be increase in platelets or any one kind of that, then it is called myeloproliferative disorder. If RBC is increased, then it is called polycythemia vera. If platelets is increased, then it is called essential thrombocytosis. Similarly, in CML, as I told, myelogenous series, everything is increased. And in MDS, it is mainly caused because of alkylating agent or radiation, or because of all this, the normal cells, it will not mature. Like, by usage of drugs like cyclophosphamide, then many other drugs like topoisomerase 2 inhibitors, example etoposide, many drugs are associated with MDS. Now, what is the main clinical feature? Main clinical feature in acute leukemia is pancytopenia, because see, there is defect in myeloid blast, therefore there is all these cells are formed but they are immature, therefore there is pancytopenia, that is decrease in RBC, platelets and many cells. But remember, it is leukemia, therefore there will be increase in WBC, but it consists of immature cells. There will be bleeding because there is increase in platelet, which is immature. Totally, there is actual decrease in platelet. Therefore, it can cause bleeding. And remember, here it is mucosal bleeding. That means when actually coagulating factors, when those are defective, it leads to formation of deep bleeding, but in this it forms mucosal bleeding. And there will be bone pain because this immature cell, all of this will go and sit in our bone and it causes bone pain. So basically, in past, when there was no proper bone marrow biopsy or flow cytometry or modern technique, basically what doctor would do is he used to tap on the sternum, because all the blast goes and accumulates in bone and causes the pain. So if there is tenderness in sternum, it indicates that there is chance of leukemia. So it was basically used clinically. And in ALL, we can see that these cells go and sit in testicles. Similarly, they go and sit in our skin, and this condition is called leukemia cutis. It is important. And remember, they will also go and sit in our lymph nodes, and it causes painless lymphadenopathy. It is important to remember that if there is any infection, then we will be having painful lymphadenopathy, but in cancer, we will be having painless lymphadenopathy. Okay, now just summarizing what we studied. First, first we must know what is the difference between leukemia and lymphoma. So basically, in leukemia, there is increase in immature cells or WBC, but these cells will go and sit in a mass or lymph nodes. Therefore, it is lymphoma. In leukemia, there is increase in immature cells, and it will directly go and go to blood. From bone marrow, it will enter our blood, but in this, from bone marrow, it will go and sit in any mass or tissues. It is divided into acute leukemia and chronic leukemia. And I told, remember, one star point, there will be greater than 20% blast, and in chronic it is less than 20%. What is the difference? In acute leukemia, it is immature cells. In chronic leukemia, it is mature cells. It is divided into AML and ALL. Here it is divided into CML and CLL. So in AML, remember one important feature, it is myeloperoxidase positive, and in ALL, it is TDT positive. First, I told this is because of AML is because of this myeloblast. So there will be increase in neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils, which are immature. Neutrophil, it will produce mainly DNA polymerase. This DNA polymerase, not DNA polymerase, it will produce myeloperoxidase. Therefore, AML will be having myeloperoxidase positive. Mainly remember, this neutrophils will produce myeloperoxidase, therefore it will be positive. Whereas when I consider ALL, the immature lymphoblast will be producing DNA polymerase, which is also known as TDT. Therefore, ALL will be TDT positive. Very, very important clinical feature. This is how actually in practice we differentiate between AML and ALL. One is the age group. Yeah, and one more thing. Is it possible to get differentiate all of this based on the age? Actually, answer is yes, because when I say ALL, it is seen in kids. Neonates to 14 year is ALL. And when I say AML, it is seen in adults, mainly 14 to, it can be 60, and even CML median age, it can be from 40 to 60, and CLL in the end it is old. So by age also we can differentiate. So just remember, let's put all ALL and CLL, and median thing M will put in the between. Therefore now considering age group, this is extreme age group, that is elders. This is neonates to 14 years, and this is mainly from 15 to, it can vary, 15 to 80 years also. So by age also we can actually get the answer, like which is ALL and which is AML. And other thing is obviously in AML it is MPO positive, myeloperoxidase positive. In the ALL it is TDT positive. Okay, now coming to risk factors. Risk factors of acute leukemia is like all carcinoma we know, benzene, multiple myeloma, Hodgkin's lymphoma, ionizing radiation. Basically when we talk about radiation, see, this is non-ionizing and this is ionizing. So whenever I say ionizing radiation, these are nothing but having high frequency, therefore this have more risk of causing cancer compared to non-ionizing radiations. This is the risk factor then of acute leukemia. Then coming to lab diagnosis, again the most important thing is peripheral blood smear, in which I told you we can see lots of blast. These are ugly looking blast. And there is anemia. I told you there is pancytopenia, therefore there is anemia, and it can be normochromic or macrocytic. It is macrocytic because, see, try to understand, there is increased formation of RBC, therefore what will happen, it will use up all the folate. So all the folate it will use, then therefore total body ka folate will decrease, and it will lead to formation of macrocytic anemia. And when I say WBC count, obviously I told, when I say leukemia it will be increased, though there is formation of immature cell, but in some cases there is less than 10,000 per mm cube, and in some cases there is more than 1 lakh cells per mm cube, and if there is more than 1 lakh, it is always worse prognosis. And coming to test, we do many testing like cytogenic studies, molecular markers, then cell surface markers, that is cluster of differentiating markers. Then there is immunophenotyping, cytochemical analysis, like we use various stains and all, which I'll be discussing later. And mainly coming to treatment also, we have something called induction phase and consolidation phase, and sometimes we can give myeloid growth factors. So in induction phase, basically will prevent the prevent the relapse. This is mainly by using chemotherapy and all. And in consolidation, it's like there is always chance that patient get cured, but again after years he may again develop the leukemia. So to prevent that, we have something called consolidation phase. So this is just the basic idea about acute leukemia. Now we'll be discussing in detail everything about AML. Okay, so again, quick 30-second summary. Leukemia is divided into acute and chronic, and again I am repeating this 100 times. In acute, there is immature cell and blast greater than 20%, in this less than 20%. Cool. And it is divided into ALL and AML, and last time we discussed that markers are MPO, and in this it was TDT. And age also, this was in young neonates to 15 years, and this was from 15 to like approx 60, and this was 80 years. So any question when we get in exam, first the best way to get the answer is by looking in the age, because normally Hemadka cases there will be long history. Again, acute leukemia, I told you all the risk factors, but again repeating, alkylating agent, benzene, ionizing radiations. Then my MDS, I told you MDS is always having the risk of formation of AML. Then aplastic anemia, Fanconi syndrome, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, many different abnormalities. And genetically there are 3 cases: Down syndrome, Turner's and Klinefelter's. Down syndrome is trisomy of 21, like there is 47XY, there is increase. Turner's 45X0, and in Klinefelter's it is 47xxy. So so basically what happens here in clinical feature is, the main clinical feature we have to remember in AML. There are two features. Actually, I'll be explaining this later in detail. So first let us come to classification. Okay, this is the most irritating part. I have like best mnemonic for each, and I guess this is more than enough even for our competitive and competitive exams. So yeah, at least basics this much you must know. So see, there will be two classification. Okay, one is WHO and one more is FAB, that is some French, American, British classification. So WHO is like very good classification because there are only 4 types, but this one which is important and we like always like to study what is complicated, that is FAB, and it makes more sense, FAB classification. So in WHO classification, the basic thing, okay, the blast count should be more than 20%, and it is not that important. Okay, this is not important for exam, and it is divided into 4 types. The 4 main types is like genetic defect and associated with MDS, then therapy or drug related, then last one is not otherwise specified. This not otherwise specified is like this both mimic. Okay, and genetic defect is, there is 3 genetic defect. Basically we talk about 3 things. One thing is translocation of 1517, one more is translocation 821, and one more is inversion of 16th chromosome. So these 3 are the genetic defect, and one more thing is whether it is associated with MDS or not, and one more is drug related, and one more is NOS, which is in detail explained in FAB. So FAB classification is nothing but basically these people told that blast should be more than 30%. Okay, so remember in WHO classification also, acute leukemia is when the blast is more than 20, but if there is this genetic abnormality, then even with the blast less than 20 is considered as acute leukemia. It is asked in many exams, this question was asked, which was the translocation associated with blast less than 20% but considered as acute leukemia. So these 3 translocations. Now coming to FAB. So these people like to classify basically on morphology, on the stains, whereas WHO was basically clinically oriented and cytogenetic, like all these translocations, though we have translocations here. So it is divided into M0, M1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now remember, this is AML with myeloblast, AML with but poorly differentiated. M1 is myeloblast without any maturation, M2 is myeloblast with maturation, and it is clinically most common. It is associated with something known as a carcinoma known as scleroma, or it is also known as myeloid sarcoma or granulocytic sarcoma. Remember scleroma. And the main translocation is translocation 821. And coming to M3, it is the most important, like board ka question, acute promyelocytic leukemia. M4 is, I have written the full form here, myelomonocytic leukemia, and M5 is monocytic, then M6 is erythroleukemia, M7 is megakaryocytic, which is associated with Down syndrome and myelofibrosis. So I will explain you. So first, when we say in easier way, so when we say MO, this is obviously nothing much to know, myeloblast with poorly differentiation, then M1 without any maturation. But when I say M2, M3, M4, okay, just remember, we know that 1517 is important translocation. So basically M3 is acute promyelocytic leukemia with important translocation T1517, and above that we have M2 with T821. You can remember this like the important Philadelphia chromosome was 9:21, 22. So both we subtracted 1 and it is translocation 821. And below that we have inversion 6. It is basically in the same order. And you can remember M4 as even number, like see, This one that is myelomonocyte. It is also two words like which mimic. And inversion 4, like 4 to the 16. So everything is even, and all these three have good prognosis. And one more important thing, I told you this is clinically most common, and it causes scleroma. That is the immature cell, that is myeloblast. It will go and sit in our periorbital tissue in our eyes. Therefore the main clinical feature is proptosis. Now how to remember, we have two eyes. Therefore M2 is associated with something called scleroma, and it is everything associated with C, like clinically most common scleroma, and it has good prognosis, and this is the translocation. Then this is the most important, acute promyelocytic leukemia, and that we know that translocation here is PML RARA, PML and retinoic acid receptor. So it is associated with that. And even I have cool way to remember this, like just remember it is translocation 15-17. So 15 and 17 PML gene, and this is retinoic acid receptor. Therefore there will be translocation. Basically because of this there is decreased retinoic acid or vitamin A formation, which will damage our endothelial cells. There is increased formation of promyelocytes. These promyelocytes will form something known as OR rods. This one will cause damage to our blood vessels, and it is mainly associated with DIC, disseminated intravascular coagulation, which is also known as consumptive coagulopathy. So remember M3, which is acute promyelocytic leukemia, is associated with DIC. Now how to remember this? Remember M3 third letter, and this translocation you have to by heart and remember, and it is associated with all three letters like DIC, vitamin A, which is also three letter. Why vitamin A is the treatment. This is one of the coolest leukemia again. Why? Because like just imagine this is a cancer and treatment is a vitamin, and treatment is also arsenic trioxide, which is a poison. Therefore we treat M3 with vitamin and poison, and associated with all three letter words. Okay, so done. And M4 I told you even words. And M5, the main feature is gum infiltration. So when I say, we all know that monocytes are formed from monoblast. Therefore monoblast will increase, which will cause gum infiltration, and there will be bleeding, and it is associated with M5. I don't know, I just remember 5 rupees bubble gum. I don't know why, it's a lame mnemonic, but whenever I see M5 I can remember gum. So you can even remember in that way. And MC, there will be bizarre formation of erythroblast, and it has poor prognosis. So till now what and all I explained all had good prognosis, but this has poor prognosis, and it is associated with PAS positive. See here it produces MPO. OR rod is nothing but accumulation of MPO, therefore it is MPO positive. But as you come down, this one is PAS positive. Remember PAS 6, something like that. So this is PAS positive, both P's, poor prognosis. And the gum infiltration was M5. And M7, the last one, it is associated with Down syndrome, basically in the age less than 5 years, and it leads to formation of platelet dependent growth factor, which causes marrow fibrosis. So that is not that important, but association with Down syndrome is important. So just summarizing in one words, important is M2, 3, and this 3 translocation, and M5 with gum infiltration, and M2 with the scleroma. That is most important. Again coming to cytogenetic, it is simple. Now everything is simple. Okay, see, the good prognosis was our favorite 3 translocation which we studied. Intermediate prognosis is translocation 1911. Bad is inversion 3, monosomy 7, 5q deletion. Basically see, something got deleted, monosomy, and inversion 3. We know that inversion 16 is good, so rest than that everything is bad prognosis. Just remember which is good prognosis. Then factors for bad prognosis. If the person is more than 60 years, I told you AML ka age will come from 50 to 60 years. So if it is more than 60 years, it is bad prognosis. And even WBC count, this I told in the beginning only, more than 1 lakh is bad prognosis. And secondary AML is also bad prognosis. Secondary matlab, today only I told you MDS also causes AML, so that is bad prognosis. The other, this all are de novo AML, but this one is secondary because it is formed because of a defect and mutation, FLT3, which is not that important. Basically remember these 3 translocations. Okay, so done. Now I'll be just revising it in 1 minute, and we'll just do 2 cases. Trust me, everything is going to be easy. So as usual, lab diagnosis, I told you peripheral blood smear, everything which I explained in acute leukemia. And morphology, we know now that there is increased formation of blast. And I included main defect in, that is AML. M3 ka I have included, that is translocation 15-17. Then cytochemical or staining, I told you TDT is mainly DNA polymerase, which is seen in our ALL, and myeloperoxidase was for AML, and mainly it was AML M3. Then this is also important, remember the markers present for AML is 13 and CD33. Like there are many CD markers, but remember AML, just invert this M to 3, so CD13, CD33. Then cytochemistry, again staining, which I have explained you, M6 is PAS positive, then M3 was MPO positive, then non-specific esterase is monocytic cells, that is our 5 rupees bubble gum, so it was M5, which is monocytes. Then okay, now done with everything, but you know we always get confused between this, so I thought I'll include that. Like acute myeloid leukemia is also known as acute myeloblastic leukemia because there is increase in blast. Then acute lymphoid leukemia is also known as acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Acute chronic myeloid is not chronic myeloblastic because I told it is not blast. Here there are no blasts, therefore it is chronic myelocytic. And chronic lymphoid is known as chronic lymphocytic, not chronic lymphoblastic. And again OR rod, which is nothing but elongated granules in cytoplasm. Therefore this, if you consider this entire as myeloblast, this is OR rods, which is nothing but MPO aggregates to form OR rods. And once they enter the bloodstream, you know, they can cause endothelium damage and they can cause DIC or bleeding. Then one more common word which we will hear is shift to left. So what does that mean? It is nothing but shift to left means formation of immature cells. Basically in bone marrow, myeloblast will become myeloid blast will become myeloblast. From there to promyelocyte to myelocyte to metamyelocyte to band cell to segmented cell to neutrophil. So now there is formation of immature cells because myeloblast, there is defect here only, therefore it forms all these immature cells, therefore it is called shift to left. That's it. So 1 minute just quick revision: leukemia, acute leukemia and chronic leukemia. This was immature, these are mature cells, more than 20% blast, less than 20. And we had WHO classification, which was 4 types, and FABCA classification, which was so many, M0 to M7. In that AML M2, 3 and 4, we knew the translocation like inversion of 16 and translocation 15-17, our favorite one, that was promyelocytica, and M2 was translocation 821. And I told 2 all C, clinically most common, and it also causes scleroma. And when I consider this one, 3-letter word, causes DIC, treatment with vitamin A or a poison, that is arsenic acid trioxide. And M4 was inversion 16. And one more, our 5 rupees bubble gum, so MM, myelomonocyte, which leads to formation of gum infiltration. So this is just the summary. I have just included 2 cases. 1 minute quick discussion. So see, 50-year-old person complains of fatigue, mucosal bleeding, infection, bone marrow biopsy reveals hypercellularity with 40% of cells known as blast cells, and there is formation of eosinophilic needles, that is our OR rods, and it is myeloperoxidase positive. So what is the diagnosis? So first we have doubt, we can see that there is immature cells, so we can rule out this. Okay, and I told you first hint is age, so 50 year ka matlab it should be either AML or CML, and we ruled out CML. So basically we got the answer as AML, but again going to history, see fatigue, all these features are of pancytopenia. And I told you mucosal bleeding is also seen in AML. So all this indicates it is AML. If it was ALL, they would have given it is TDT positive. So they have given MPO, matlab it is mainly M3, or it can be M4 also. Let's see. And what is the most, which of the following has bad prognosis? Remember, see, this was our favorite translocation, favorite. De novo AML was favorite. When I told WBC count more than 1 lakh is bad prognosis, so this is the answer. Now one more, a 67-year-old, 10-day history of fatigue, then bleeding gum, cellulitis, weight loss. On physical examination there was no hepatosplenomegaly or no lymphadenopathy. Then all the findings, the main thing we can see that there is decreased hemoglobin and platelet, therefore again in the count we can see blast has increased. So again it should be either AML or ALL. Which type, what is the skin lesion associated? So if you remember, I have told in the starting that there is formation of infiltrate which will go and sit in skin. So if it is ALL, then there can be something called as leukemia cutis, which I have told earlier. But here bleeding gum is mainly associated with AML, M5, 5 rupees bubble gum, which I told. So which type of AML? It is M5. And why there is cellulitis? See, remember there is decrease, there is pancytopenia. So basically there is neutropenia, that is decrease in neutrophils. So there can be a lot of infections. So there is cellulitis. So that's it. Hope you understood something. Do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.